Well, today we're going to take care of a couple of small things on Project Basher. One of them is the grill, which I'm dealing with right now. So the problem with the grill is it's not attached to the vehicle very well. So this boy's been wrecked before. There's some damage over here in the corner, down in there. Somebody has gone over the top trying to get these screws out of the bumper cover, I guess you could call it, the front bumper cover. Creative idea. Maybe they'll come out. I haven't tried. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So how it's attached is my understanding is there's a couple of plastic clips up here, and mine appear to be broke, which I think 99% of them are probably. And then the other way it was held into place was with the screw right there, and then I think a push pin, you know, one of those plastic removable rivets, and there was one down here and one down here. So what I've done is I set riv nuts in place, 1/4 inch, 1/4 riv nuts, and I've got some Allen head button head bolts, and we'll get it installed. Just in case you're wondering what tool this is, it's the riv nut setter kit. I don't know if everybody knows how this works, but these are the ones I use, these 1/4-20s. It's like a rivet, but it's got threads on the inside. And this is just like a pop rivet gun, except it's got different mandrels that can slide through it. And then you adjust it. I like to make it so that the threads just stick through the riv nut. So that the threads just stick through the riv nut. And then not have the handle fully extended. You can change the stroke by how far this is screwed in. And if you have it at the perfect grip, you can just do a little bit at a time and then tighten this up, because it just turns in this. Tighten it up on the rivet when the handle's loose, when you let go of the handle, so it's tight against it. 2 or 3 little short strokes and it's done. It's tight. It's not a big strain on the hands. So there you go. I'll show you the part number one more time, just in case you want to get one. They are not. It's just one of the tools I picked up over the years of working on stuff. Let's get it out here in the sun all the way. I'm not big on Husky tools, but this is a pretty cool set. I was traveling for work. I think I was in Hawaii, I can't remember, but I had to have an Allen set, and this tool right here, when you got a deep hole somewhere, so it turns it into a handle where you can get some torque on it. My neighbor just stopped and talked to me about his Subaru has been sitting for, he said, like 3 years, but he starts it every couple weeks, but he hasn't driven it. So he wanted to know about the brakes, what I thought. So I told him what I thought, whether he wants to hear it or not. So this makes it so that if you can't get the short end and get some torque on a bolt, I don't want to over torque it into that plastic. I don't want to break the plastic. But I definitely want to get these tight. So now the grill is easily removed with an Allen. Click. I just put 3 bolts in it. I ordered some clips, but I don't know if I'll put them in there. We'll see how this feels. So yeah, those clips would help out here. because I think they're like right in here somewhere. So it could help a little bit with this. Yeah, those clips could help with that a little bit. I'm okay with it the way it is. I don't know if you can see that, but if you look in, yeah, you can see it in that headlight. The chrome is gone. So the headlight is really dim. Been looking for a product to try and, you know, I might take these apart. New headlights are really expensive, so. Well, I'm suspecting the EGR valve is bad on my track on Basher, Project Basher, so I've got my old school vacuum pump with the broken lens on the gauge, and when I pump it, I got my thumb blocking the port. I can't even get it past. Let me see if I can stabilize this. I can't get it past 7. Now I don't know how sealed these EGR valves are supposed to be, but here's the brand new one. I just got it at AutoZone. These kids. It's not much better, is it? Well, I did find something kind of interesting that I dismissed when I first pulled the EGR valve out. Is this nut was sitting in there. Just like that. And I thought, oh, that's not. I did that a few times. But of course I'm holding it like this. If I turn it so that it sits on the engine like it's mounted, how did that not fall out of there? I never dropped any bolts in there, but it can fall down in here and hold that EGR valve open. I had it in there accidentally, holding the valve partially open. Now I can't recreate it for the camera. Well, I did find that nut in there. I can't get it to, there it is. It's blocking it. Well, no, it's not. I don't know. That's the only thing I can explain. There. See, it's holding it right there. Well, anyway, I found the nut in there like that. It was laying in there like that. How did that not ever fall out of there? How did that ever not fall out of there? You know, it was like that when I bought it. The only thing I could figure is that would get down in there and jam it up every once in a while, and then I'd drive it and it would rattle loose. Jeez, I don't know. But that's the only explanation I have. And I bought the EGR valve. It was less than $50, so I went ahead and bought it. And I installed it with the new gasket. Here's the old gasket. Hopefully this takes care of the intermittent, really running bad, like a bad vacuum leak. So, well, here's the part number for the EGR valve I got from AutoZone. Not my favorite part supplier. And the gasket was missing in the box, so the guy at the counter gave me this. Here's the part number for the EGR gasket, which was missing out of the box. Here's the old EGR valve with the nut in it. I don't know why I didn't think of that right at first when I pulled that apart and it fell into my hand. It must have been sitting there. It's the only place it could have been. So, there it is. Hopefully no more major running bad issues with this thing. But I am wondering how, I would think that this should hold vacuum. The port that goes to the intake manifold should not leak at all. I would figure that would be an airtight seal, but it's not on the old one or the new one. So they must planned on a little vacuum leak there, huh? All right. Well, I bought an ultra gauge and I installed it, and this is what led me to believe it was the EGR valve. was the problem, because it would just run horribly every once in a while, very intermittent. So I put the new EGR valve on and I started the tracker and let it warm up here. Let's see. Engine coolant's at 143 degrees. And I've been seeing this go as high as 7.5 on the short term. Sure does fluctuate a lot, but I think that's going to follow the oxygen sensor. Your short term is going to follow the oxygen sensor, so the average. So, but they're all in the negative, so it's pulling fuel. It's running rich right now because the long term is +7. So they're evening out. This should even out over time. The longer this runs at idle, the more closer these two numbers should become to each other. I can't imagine it running rich now. The other way you can figure this out is to go ahead and go in and clear the history, like resetting the codes or pulling the negative battery on this, or pulling the fuse for the ECM, the engine ECM, should reset the short-term and long-term fuel trims. And then you can let it warm up and idle, let it idle for a while. And you should not see, I would say, no more than 3 to 5, positive or negative on the long term. So I'm going to leave it here for now. If I come up with something different, I'll show you guys. But it's really weird that nut being on top of that EGR valve like that. I wish I would have caught that before I pulled that EGR valve off. I just couldn't see in there that well. So, all right.